Welcome to Look in the Book, and today I just want us to look just briefly at the first of the Psalms, the book of Psalms, Psalm number 1. It's a short psalm, only 6 verses, and it sort of stands as a bouncer going into the book of Psalms. It sort of stands at the door, at the entry gate to the book of Psalms, and it kind of talks about many of the themes that the rest of the Psalms discuss. The likes of the contrast between the righteous person and the wicked person, talking about the fruit of their lives, talking about their end result or their end fate or destiny. And so the first psalm discusses this in a really beautiful way, a very poetic way. So let's just get a start. And I want to start by reading the first verse. Blessed is the man, or blessed is the man, who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. And really the first thing I want to look at is this word blessed. This word, it really means happy, content is this person. So what is happiness? How do we find happiness? It's probably a question that drives a lot of our lives. Certainly in Ireland, as long as you're happy, that's okay. You hear that quite a lot in Ireland. And this psalm talks about happiness as something that is a byproduct of something else. We search for happiness, but it remains elusive to many of us because we think that by searching for happiness itself, we can find happiness. But it's a little bit like a slippery fish. Once you think you have it, it just seems to wriggle away. Happiness, according to this psalm, is a byproduct of something else. What's it a byproduct of? Well, blessed is the man who, or woman who, this person who walks not in the counsel of the wicked. So it's talking firstly about what this person does not do. So it's speaking negatively about what the person does not do. Does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, meaning taking their advice or their teaching for life or influence, nor stands in the way of sinners, follows their path, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, takes their place. So there's really 3 things. In one sense, it's sort of like a journey downwards. The journey's in the wrong direction to begin with because it's away from God. So negatively, the person does not do these things. But here's the contrast. What does the blessed person do? His delight, positively, is in the law of the Lord. And on his law, he meditates day and night. So positively, he does something. Meditates on the law of the Lord. The law of the Lord is just a phrase to say his word, the scriptures, the Bible. So this is what this person does. In one sense, these are actions here. The person who follows the way of the wicked acts in these ways. He walks, stands, sits. Whereas this is, in one sense, an attitude, the delight of the person who is happy or blessed. So you have this, and always our actions are born out of our attitudes. It's been said that sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. I don't know who came up with that, but that is true, that really our lives and our destinies are shaped by the thoughts we think, which are ultimately shaped by our attitudes. But the blessed man, the blessed person, delights in the law of the Lord. So it's a contrast of desires. Excuse the writing, it's not very good here. You either desire the counsel of the wicked or you desire the law of the Lord. Let's look at these 2 pictures that the psalmist paints of these 2 people. So who is he here? He is the person who meditates day and night on the law of the Lord. And it is the person who walks not in these other ways. It is the person who is blessed. So he is like a tree. That's the picture we have here. And what does the tree do? It's planted by streams of water. That speaks about refreshment. tree needs water to grow. And that yields its fruit in its season. It's productive. Its leaf does not wither. It's healthy. It's able to withstand difficult times. In all that he does, he prospers. This talks about success. And really all of this is just a picture of life. Someone who is truly alive. And that matches the whole idea of a tree. He's like a tree. It's a good image. But then you continue, it talks about the wicked are not so. This is the other person. So we have a contrast again between the tree and this person who's like chaff. The wicked are not so, but like chaff. That's the husk that goes around the kernel of grain, the wheat grain, that the wind drives away. So that is, it's dead, it's useless, it's of no good to anybody, and it's separated from the grain by the farmer and blows away. It is no good whatsoever. So you have a contrast of pictures here of life that is truly lived versus a dead person who is ultimately dead, even though alive, spiritually dead and morally dead. Now, the final thing is here, you have a contrast of destinies, and it goes back to that quote, sow a thought, reap an action, sow an action, reap a habit, sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny. It really talks about the results here. Let's read it. Therefore, the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. So you see here, again you have this contrast going on between the righteous and the wicked. And it's a contrast of results. What does the result of the life lived for God versus lived for wickedness? There's a destiny that each life finds. And so really, this is a summary. This is a summary of the entire Bible, you could say, the entire story, the entire two ways to live. And it answers the question that we all have about happiness. So just to leave you with a couple of questions to ask yourself, to reflect on this psalm, what do you love? Because the first verse here talks about, or the second verse, the person who's happy delights in the law of the Lord. What do you love? What delights your soul? What delights you in your innermost being? And is it God's word? One way to find out is, what do you like to do in your free time? If you get any free time, what do you like to do or think about in your free time? Where do your thoughts wander? Where does your soul go? Somebody said, don't tell me what you love, tell me what you do with your time, and I'll tell you what you love. And just a final question is, does your approach to God and His Word need to change? Or maybe your attitude of love or not love to God's Word need to change? Because ultimately, this is the thing that dictates whether we are going to be happy people, blessed, truly living, truly alive, or whether we will not be. The choice is ours.